Hello once again and welcome to Euromain's Movie Report. Well, it's Saturday and the time is 8:17 p.m. I have just eaten my dinner and now I'm gonna review a movie for you. This week, of course, I watched the sci-fi film The Darkest Hour. When I went into the local theatre to watch The Darkest Hour, I had good expectations because it looked to be an original sci-fi flick with some okay special effects, and from the trailer it looked that it had some neat punchlines and cliches. But The Darkest Hour, well, it wasn't as good as I expected. In many ways, this film was a cross between Eurotrip, you know, the comedy from 2004, and War of the Worlds. As Eurotrip meets War of the Worlds, that's the most exact definition. In the film, we have these two 20-somethings playing these 18-year-old dudes who go to Moscow to promote some sort of youth travelers portal. But when they arrive in Moscow, their idea has been stolen by their slick Swedish business partner who speaks Russian. And then they go out, and the two guys, they go out into the town to drown their sorrows, and then they meet these two young women, and one from Australia. One of them is Rachel Taylor, played by Rachel Taylor. You know the Australian chick who played the science nerd, most unbelievable science nerd in Transformers from 2007, and Michael Bay, he can really depict them. And together with Olivia Thirlby, who is known for instance, No Strings Attached and Juno. These two girls are also out on the town in Moscow, and then nasty things suddenly happen. These yellow things starts to drop from the sky, and they can dissolve people and anything. And then the main actors, characters, they have to hide in a cellar, and then they fart around in Moscow and run into all these cliche characters while trying to evade these aliens. And there, at that point where they run around Moscow, and the whole thing about the ending, etc., it made me think, where have we seen a film before where something drops down from the sky and wants to devour, wants to get rid of the humans and use our resources, but these things are defeated by by human ingenuity? Then I thought to myself, this film, it reminds me so much of the British sci-fi classic The Day of the Triffids. The Day of the Triffids came out in the early 1950s and was basically about these seeds which are stuck to a comet which crashes into the earth, and these seeds they develop into these intelligent plants who want us humans out of the way, and then these intelligent plants, they want our resources, and they are defeated by common human ingenuity. And also it seemed to me that the writers of The Darkest Hour, they have read, most certainly have read The Day of the Triffids, and then they have rewritten The Day of the Triffids to match their idea of a plot for this movie, and that's a bit lame in my opinion, because they could easily have constructed a more original film from their own idea instead of stealing from someone else. Even the ending of this film, and here's a spoiler, so if you haven't seen The Darkest Hour, you're warned. Our heroes, they find this radio which broadcasts this message in Russian, and then they fortunately run into this Russian teen who can translate for them, and it turns out that there's this Russian Navy sub waiting in the Moscow River, and it sails at yada 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 time. And where have we seen that before? The ending of The Day of the Triffids. Also, there our heroes travel down to southern Europe, and they learn that there's this Royal Navy submarine waiting for them to take them out to sea, away from the evil plants. And then there you have it again, the ending of Day of the Triffids, the ending of The Darkest Hour. They are so similar, it cannot be a coincidence. I'm sure that the author, the text author of, the script author of this film here, he or they have read The Day of the Triffids, and yeah. But regarding this film, the acting, it's at the level of, if you guys remember the travesty film from 2010, Skyline, it's that level of acting. So you can't expect much from this acting, and in some scenes it even reaches the level of, as I mentioned in the beginning, Euro Trip. So that's a bit with sexual humor and all that. So there's, for instance, there's a scene where Natalie and the guy who one of the Emile Hirsch, Sean as he's called in the film, she's standing there, and they enter this Moscow, the ruins of this Moscow mall, Gum, if I remember correctly, that's the name. And then when Olivia Tolby, Natalie, she's standing there changing, and then in the middle of all that that's happening around them, when he starts to check out, he's standing in this gentleman's store across the gangway, and he starts to check out her ass. That reminded me so much about the level of the story level in Eurotrip, and that was a bit misplaced in my opinion. But when again, maybe it was put in there to appeal to the younger audience. But again, the acting, it was not, it was Skyline level, but okay. The special effects, yeah, they were okay too. The yellow floating fish people, alien things, they looked a bit lame when when we see them at the end. But they were okay too, and yeah, it wasn't the best special effects, but they were okay. And as I said earlier, when you have a story and you rip off another story, a better story, then I'm not very fond of this story, because it's very unoriginal in my opinion. So if you want to watch Day of the Triffids, then you should check out the 1951 version film of A Day of the Triffids, because it has better characters, and a better story, and generally it's a better film than this one. But if you want to see a film with 20-somethings running farthing around Moscow with cliches and stupid punchlines, then you should go out and check. You should go out and check out The Darkest Hour. So, but if I'm gonna rate this film, I would say 2 out of 5 Coca-Cola bottles, because it was a piece of shit in my opinion. And if you want to wait for a genuine big budget remake of The Day of the Triffids, then you should check out that Sami Raimi, who directed the the previous 3 Spider-Man films. And I know that's not a guarantee of quality, but from the looks of what I have read, it is going to be a big budget remake of David Triffids. It's supposed to be released in next year, so you should definitely check it out. If it comes to be, I'm gonna check it out and review it for you, of course. But this film, The Darkest Hour, 2 out of 5 Coca-Cola bottles, because, as I said, it was a piece of shit, a bad remake of Day of the Triffids, and not worth spending money in the theater. You should buy it when it's out on DVD, Blu-ray in about a year, and maybe when it's in the bargain bin. So that's it. Euroman of Euroman's Movie Report saying goodbye for now, and I'll return next week with a review of J. Edgar. Until then, have a pleasant weekend, stay safe out there, bye for now.